What's really happening with Linkin Park? Will they really lose their legacy after years of giving us some of the most iconic hits that shaped the 21st century for rock fans? Senile and tone deaf. That's what Chester Bennington's son, Jaime, said in reaction to the arrival of the new vocalist. We'll talk about his controversial statements later, but first, let's talk about the positive thing that happened last year. The band's comeback after 7 years. True rock fans will never forget September 5th, 2024, because that's the day Linkin Park made their long-awaited comeback. The one we were so eagerly waiting for. And the best part about it, it was a live stream, so the whole world could see it at the same time. I mean, I literally jumped off the sofa when I heard the news. And they weren't just making a comeback, it was also an announcement about the band's new members. And there was one member in particular who got some, maybe that's an understatement, mixed reactions from the fans. Can you guess who it was? It was obviously the new vocalist, Emily Armstrong. She's apparently the chosen one to replace Chester's legacy. How will it turn out? I guess we'll find out. But whatever you think now, people really seem to love the comeback concert. The band did roll back the years by performing some of their biggest hits from the past, like Numb in the End, The Emptiness Machine, and a lot more. These are the songs that put this band on the map, and to watch them play all of these after so many years was a feeling that's hard to explain with words. It was extremely nostalgic but emotional at the same time because of what Mike Shinoda said about Bennington. He said, "This is a very special day for us. In the role of Chester Bennington this afternoon is each of you." Someone's cutting onions near me, I guess, but there's something you can't let go unnoticed, and that's the amount of criticism and controversy surrounding this new singer, like her link to the Church of Scientology. Did you know the church protected a criminal, one of Emily Armstrong's friends, from authorities for almost 20 years? It's just crazy. Before diving into all that negativity and the backlash they received, first, let's just talk about what made LP so big. And it was their first ever album, Hybrid Theory, which dropped on October 24th, 2000. Honestly, no one expected much from it, but the album was an instant hit. It was dominating all the charts and quickly became one of the best-selling albums on the planet. How big was it actually? It debuted at number 29 on the US Billboard 200, and just within a week, it sold 50,000 copies. But that's not it, because 4 weeks later, it sold 500,000 copies. Now those are some crazy numbers. But why was it so good? It's because that album brought together everything. Heavy metal, electronic beats, sharp rap, raw screams, and catchy pop tunes. That perfect blend of music and vocals launched 6 unknown guys straight to the top of the world. The debut album's packed with classics such as One Step Closer, Paper Cut, In the End, and Crawling. For the latter, the band received in 2002 the Grammy Award for Best Hard Rock Performance. But sitting on top of it all was one person, without whom this record probably wouldn't have been as massive as it is today. And his name is Chester Bennington. He's the man whose vocals put this band on the map, not only because he was a great singer, but because his lyrics and delivery always used to hit in the right spot. With Chester on board, Hybrid Theory's lyrics took a darker, more personal turn. For example, the song Crawling dealt with his struggles with addiction. Bennington himself once said it was the hardest song for him to sing live, especially the line, "These wounds, they will not heal." It captured his battle with alcohol and drugs. The lyrics of this song are just brutal. My walls are closing in. Not a sense of confidence. Just listen to this. "Crawling in my skin, these wounds, they will not heal. Fear is how I fall, confusing what is real." I'm getting goosebumps just reading it out loud to you guys. And how can I forget to talk about In the End? As Chester said, "I had to fall to lose it all, but in the end it doesn't even matter." These lines will stay with every rock fan forever, because looking backward, knowing what we know now, these lyrics are even more telling. Hybrid Theory was a piece of art, and Chester was the artist that made it so good. And after all those years, 7 years since Bennington's passing, this new incarnation of Linkin Park arrived last year, which did have mixed reactions from rock fans, because as nostalgic and exciting as this experience was for all of us, I'm sure Emily Armstrong can't say the same about it, because her inclusion in the band has proven deeply divisive. Sure, there are some fans who are okay with Emily being a part of the band, but at the same time, there are fans who think there's no Linkin Park without Chester, and that's not it. They think the band shouldn't even be called Linkin Park anymore. Whoa. Now don't get me wrong, Emily's really good. Obviously, she's no Chester, but still. And the divide isn't because she's not good enough or talented enough. The divide's mainly because of her previous support for her one-time friend, Danny Masterson. How many of you here remember Masterson? That 70s show actor was on trial for rape in 2023. and, as it turns out, was a close friend of Emily as well. Initially, fans were so happy about her arrival into the band. Some fans on Reddit even labeled her inclusion as a worthy reboot and the best step they could have taken. But shortly after the news broke of her connection with Danny, things changed. And there is someone who really did not take her induction nicely, and that's Chester's son, Jaime. He took to Instagram and wrote a pretty lengthy statement protesting against the band's choice of Emily. Now, I won't be reading the whole note for you guys, for obvious reasons, but Jaime did remind everyone of Armstrong's support for Danny, who was convicted of 2 out of 3 rape charges in 2023 and was sentenced to 30 years to life in prison. Not only this, he also slammed Emily for her ties with the Church of Scientology, which Danny and his victims were also a part of. Apparently, the church protected Danny for years by stopping those victims from going to the authorities, saying that in Scientology, the defendant is untouchable. It's not me. That's what Deputy District Attorney Ariel Anson told the jury in one of Danny's hearings on May 16th, 2023. The church obviously denied these claims, but it was enough to turn the fans and Jaime against Emily. But Jaime took it one step further. He criticized Shinoda by saying, "You quietly erased my father's life and legacy in real time." And that's not it. He also said that you have betrayed the trust loaned to you by decades of fans and supporting human beings, including myself. Now, I think Jamie's taking it too far and being overly harsh towards Shinoda. I mean, Chester was big, but life has to move on, right? And Jaime wasn't the only one who was offended by Emily's inclusion. Bennington's mother, Susan, also jumped in on the act. She labeled this decision as a betrayal. Why? She claimed that the members of the band promised her that they'd let her know whenever the band decided to reform, and apparently that's not what happened. Susan agreed with whatever Jaime had to say and said Linkin Park's trying very hard to erase the past. And that, folks, is how your life can turn upside down in a matter of hours. I mean, the band planned the launch of this whole new era, expecting everyone around the world to get excited and whatnot, but their plans were launched straight into the gutter overnight. This called for an immediate response from the band, and that's exactly what they did. Emily Armstrong released a statement on Instagram in which she said that she clearly made the mistake of supporting someone she once considered a friend. She said, "I went to one early hearing as an observer. Soon after, I realized I shouldn't have. The reason she gave for attending the hearing was that she was trying to see the good in people." She also tried to clear the air by saying she hasn't spoken to Danny ever since, and that she doesn't condone abuse or violence against women. I know that her appearance at one of Danny's hearings didn't help Emily's image at all, but it's about time we cut her some slack. It takes time for someone to share the guilt of criminals they once called friends. And maybe Emily did go to the hearing just to find out the truth about Danny, where she came across some shocking evidence during the trial that opened her eyes and made her realize the true character of the man. With that being said, the fans are asking just one question, and that is, can Emily Armstrong replace Chester Bennington? And the answer is a big no, because her inclusion in the band wasn't even about replacing Chester. That's something no one can ever do. His legacy is too big to be replaced, and I think no one's big enough to fill his shoes. Her inclusion in the band was totally based on the fact that things have to go on. The rest of the band wants to keep playing together. They want to keep making music together, and that's exactly what they did. Chester was someone who meant a lot to all of these guys, and they believe that Bennington himself would have been okay seeing this new version of the band. In fact, they honor him by continuing to play the songs he wrote. And it's not like Emily was their first choice. The band tried working with many different singers since Chester passed away, but none of them felt like a good fit. It was only in 2023 that the band felt like Armstrong was the one they'd move forward with. Now, some of you may not know it, but 2023 wasn't the first time she worked with the band. Emily auditioned for the band back in 2019 as well, but things didn't click then. And 2 years ago, they finally decided that Emily was the one. And one of the main reasons why she's a part of the band is because of Mike Shinoda. This is what he had to say about her. "When I started to hear Emily's voice on things, it was like the first time that my brain would accept it as a Linkin Park song. Not only Mike, but the band's DJ, Joe Hahn, became a fan of her signature guttural scream, and he said that's what sealed the deal for her. But you know, that's just me and some facts. Will she ever be a successful part of the band, or will Linkin Park lose its legacy? Please let me know what you think in the comments."